All right, we are live. This is Renee Manford with What's Your Passion podcast, and this is a very good friend of mine, my partner, Ed Colombe. How are you doing tonight, Ed?
I'm doing good, Renee. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So me and Ed, we talk on a daily basis. We work together, so we're constantly going over some different things we're doing from a business perspective. Now, Ed, kind of give me, your background. I mean, you have built truck stops in the Louisiana area, casino truck stops, and you've been in that. You've been in that for several years. You deal with the video poker industry. You know that so well from every end. You have connections, and that's where me and Ed kind of met approximately around 14 years ago. I was doing business brokering and brokering a video poker route, and that's how Ed and I met. And so we became great friends, and now we're just kind of doing business together with some different things in the construction industry, and we have a couple other partners that we're dealing with a truck truck parking locations and also EV charging stations. So welcome again, Ed. We're going to kind of just share a little bit about your background.
Sure. So my name is Ed Colombe. I'm New Orleans native. I started in the computer industry, actually, Renee. After I got out of college, I went to University of New Orleans, got a job with a company out of California selling computers to court reporters, actually. And met a guy along the way and went into my own company selling to court reporters as well, but selling software that was on a PC versus a closed architecture system. Odd way to get into truck stops, but a friend of mine's dad owned a company called Copy Products long time ago. Herb Sale and his son, Chris Sale, met Chris through the Rotary Club, actually. Chris told me his dad was thinking about selling Copy Products, and they needed a computer, kind of a computer side to the company. And so I went and met with Chris's dad. I ultimately kind of folded my company into Copy Products, and we started expanding Copy Products as computer side to their company. He sold the company. I went with the sale, and that was about the end of it for me in regard to the computer industry. Along the way, I met some folks that were getting into the video poker business in Louisiana. And I kind of always had a knack of getting inside of small little niches, which we talk about a lot, and kind of work my way into it organically, learn a lot of buzzwords, sound smarter than I actually am about an issue, just a gift of gab I have, and a reasonably smart guy. And so I started to learn the computer side, and what I did realize, the video poker side, and what I realized is that those guys were all in need of sort of a specialty finance piece. So the first deal I did in video poker was for a small route that ended up being a huge route. We financed 200 poker machines. We just did kind of a way of discounting the price by discounting the interest. I really didn't know a lot about it, but I learned from a guy that was a GE retired General Electric aviation finance guy. He financed jets. He was retired. He was working with a company out of Montana. Really weird way to get into the business, but I met a guy named Frank Reeland. Frank and I ended up, from the mid 90s until 2000, 12, 13. Working together.
Yeah, it's right around the time I met you, I think.
Yeah. I met you when I got back from Chicago, where I was up in Chicago launching another finance niche called the Funding Stop with a couple of partners in Chicago. So I've always kind of been in the video poker side, in the support side, advisory. I never had a route. Never competed with the customer. It's kind of the way I approach my business. So no one ever sort of viewed me as a threat. I was always in the side of taking a route, building truck stops, doing truck stop deals. For people that don't know, Louisiana, truck stops are an oddity. It's like a unicorn in the gaming business. truck stops in Louisiana, you can build mini casinos, so you could put up to 50 machines. And somehow, some way, man, I just became kind of a specialist in the truck stop space in Louisiana, became a general contractor through a very, again, sort of back my way into that as well. And we went on to really be sort of an industry leader in that space. We built between ground up construction, renovations, transactions, buy, sell deals, probably done about 27, 30 truck stops in the state of Louisiana. There's 197 of them. So doing 30 of 197, that's not a bad deal, right? So made a nice little living doing that. And I'm still in the video poker space today, working for a small family ran business out of Belle Chase, Louisiana. And I do advisory and sort of day-to-day operational work with those guys. So I've made a living in the video poker space and the gaming space, not only in Louisiana, but throughout the country. So sort of my background.
It's interesting because you and I, we've gone to some of those casino truck stops, and I've been in several of them because I do I travel so much with the with our transportation. So I go in them, and I'm always thinking about, is this one of them that he built? And it's just interesting because most of them I think you did build.
Yeah. Well, we had the opportunity to go in one that I built and took some really good pictures together, actually.
Yeah.
So
I might have to bring those pictures up, and when I find those pictures, I know I got them.
Yeah. So I've always enjoyed that space. I still enjoy it today. I'm looking for other opportunities, which brings us to sort of things that we're going to talk about, I guess, tonight. So at my age, 64 years old, and I'm just kind of looking. I'm always looking for the next opportunity. It keeps you young, keeps you fresh. And through the things that you're teaching me, I'm just learning a lot about AI and about sales generation funnels, and just this next kind of leap that people are taking forward. And so that's kind of, what I find interesting based on what you're doing, Renee.
So kind of go through this. So what happened was I was approached with a friend of mine out of Arkansas that I used to be in the health club business up there years ago. And a friend of mine called me up one day and asked me if I was interested in learning about the EV charging industry. Mm-hmm. And so when he brought that to my attention, the first person I thought about was Ed because of his experience and connection. So what this video is all about is really from the people we meet in our lives. Sometimes you don't know where it's going to go, but you build a relationship, and sometimes you're not at the point where you can really help each other, but some down the line, you never know where it's going to go. And that's what happened with me and Ed. Now, me and Ed we met through a friend of mine, Danny Pfister, that both of us are friends with, correct?
Yeah.
We actually met through Danny, right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting that we always have people in our lives that come into our lives at certain points. And that's where this is really where I'm going with this, is why I started What's Your Passion community, was because of the connections that we make on a daily basis and different people's experience. Now, when I started that EV charging idea, I knew the first person I'm going to call is Ed because he understood the space better. So I didn't know anything about EV charging in general, but I knew enough about real estate. I knew enough about some basic things from a business perspective. And then I said, okay, well, instead of me trying to figure this thing out for myself, I called Ed. Ed started having some ideas. Actually, I remember the morning I think you called me on a Sunday morning, and we started talking for about an hour about how to create what we weren't even thinking about was a coffee shop, right? Mm-hmm. And that would be a place where people can come and charge their cars, sit in the coffee shop. And so we called it Bolt Coffee. We started with, and we finally all settled on Amp Station, which is our consulting firm for people who are looking to build EV charging stations or convert their current commercial locations in having additional EV chargers. And so that's really where this all kind of came from. Now here we are, we're working together. I'm learning some things on the digital marketing side that I've been sharing with Ed. So now we've partnered up on that, and he's learning these skills as I'm learning, and I'm teaching other clients. So it's really just kind of coming around to where we're always changing and we're always evolving. And on that, that's where both of us are, right, Ed?
Yeah, the EV side is interesting. We gave it and are still giving it effort. We were probably first movers in Louisiana, we came up with such a novel approach and idea. Really, no one was thinking about it. How you create a retail environment for when people are charging their cars, right? But the political climate, the rules and regs, the regulatory process with the grant, it just really has kind of slowed everything down. I think that's still going to come around eventually.
Right.
The new change in administration, obviously, Elon Musk is playing a part in anybody up with the things that are going on today. Musk is a big part of Trump's new administration. That's not by some coincidence. So I do think that we're kind of sitting there with a business in a box, waiting to deploy it. But the AMP Station project really brought together a solid team, great ideas, revolutionary thought, and taught us a lot about that niche, and we'll see where that goes, and that actually brought us into, some other things like truck parking. And so we've opened a lot of doors through that session we had on the phone on a Sunday morning. It's amazing how that works, right?
Yeah, it's crazy, and sometimes you just don't know. You don't know where things are going to go. And so over the last, between you and I, I've been playing with this in detail, more digital marketing for the last year. And so I brought Ed in, and I'm going to share with you just really some things that we've been working on. So I started this company, What's Your Passion, right around COVID time. And it was basically started out as a coaching platform. And my thought pattern is now everybody has a passion. And just like Ed and I, we have passions, and we have so much experience throughout the years that sometimes we find that people are just looking for direction. They might be in a job. They're not really happy with their jobs. They're looking for ways to either make an extra income. And sometimes they need certain individuals to come in their lives to kind of help them think a little bit and just kind of give them some direction. And I've had mentors in my life, and just like with Ed, we've both been mentored by people who come into our lives, whether it's coaches or wealthy people or whatever it may be. And I think that really sometimes is an opportunity where it just opens you up to another idea. You don't know where it's going to go, but at the same time, you start thinking and you start learning and you start doing, right? So it's all these different aspects that I find for myself and also other individuals that you just kind of go with the flow. Just like with the EV charging, it was an idea that was thrown to me, and I said, okay, let me play with this idea, pass it on. So it's kind of like now you bring your team in. So it's not so much always you having to know everything. And that's really what Your Passion platform is all about in our school and our community, is really bringing people together to have a mixture of different backgrounds, resources, information. And then together we can help each other learn, earn faster. And the old saying, I think, is fail faster or fail forward or fail faster forward. So it's kind of like you just kind of have to just do things and just say, hey, let's just start. What did we do, Ed? We came up with a logo, right, of the AMP station. We played around with that for a few weeks.
Well, yeah, we started out with Volt, V-O-L-T, if you remember.
Correct.
And we were gonna actually have a coffee shop, and we found these guys in Alabama called Volt Coffee, and we reached out to them, and they were not receptive to the call. They didn't even call back. And I think that we put it out to the group, we kicked around some names, and I kind of remember you saying, let's get amped up at Volt, if you remember.
Right. Yeah.
And so AMP is a great name. We have a great logo. We have a great design. And you could take that design and use it, because really it became a retail center is really what it became with EV charging, right? So that design we came up with could be anywhere USA, and could be, PJ's, a Starbucks, a Subway, a Quiznos, anything that you could consider putting in there while people are charging their cars. We really became forward thinking on how we would actually take this and turn it into a retail development on any corner USA.
So just kind of going off of that, I mean, so basically, we're with what's your passion design came out to, or my consulting side with Amp Station, is that it's combining all of our skills and talents into really this format. So coaching, self development, and life programs is where the what's your passion community is all about, really bringing people together. And again, there's coaching side to our business plan, and we have different aspects to it because of my background, because of Ed's background, and so many individuals who we have in our community, that we find where people are. They might be a contractor that they're trying to do a deal together, so we joint venture. It's kind of like we've created this kind of it's kind of forming into kind of a small entity of ideas of being a Shark Tank. So you have Shark Tank, where our format, we have different investors, we have different people who we pulled into our communities, and between Ed's background, my background, and the resources of people we've built up over our years of doing business, it really kind of spun off into different things that we're working on right now. And then when it comes down to the self-development platform, self-development comes in from what I have learned, and what I'm bringing in is really the future of AI, how to really understand and learn the different skills of video, how to do different things with content, how to turn content into profit, how to turn content into clients. I work with a gentleman, LeDuc Entertainment, and he's local, and we've been friends for some years, and he's really blowing up across the country, helping attorneys and different firms on how to really take their, we can go into like one day, and we pretty much can educate them on different things we can do to help their brand get even bigger, right? So we have life programs, and then that's pretty much life courses and things of that nature to basically help build people's skills. So on this part right here is that I know Ed's been you've been learning with me a little bit over the last few months. I've kind of given you some things to start thinking about. Has what I've been sharing with you, Ed, has that been opening your eyes up? Because I know I've been shooting a lot to you. I've been sharing with you videos or different ideas and different concepts that I'm learning from mentors and masterminds that I'm in. Is that helping you out to see the world a little bit different than you were before?
Yeah, for sure. And you have been sharing a lot, and I have been trying to take it in as much as I can. I think what a lot of people will struggle with is a limited amount of time, and just taking it all in and trying to see how it all fits in and how you deploy, right? What I have watched in the videos you've shared, which have been extremely educational and teaching me that there's a whole different world out there. It's sort of like I already knew that existed, but I didn't understand how to deploy it and use it in a practical business sense. Right. So, because let's just take, for example, which I talked to you a lot about, our truck parking app, FinPark, when, and competitors make you better at your game. So there is a company out there, which we talk about a lot, truckparkingclub.com. Those guys have become masters at using videos, pumping them out, frequency, LinkedIn, all the platforms, and they just drive it. And although their quality of their product isn't up to what we would consider to be a really great location for a truck driver to feel safe and secure, if you sit back and just the way they're constantly in your face, they have stormed the industry in regard to spreading their name of their company, their logo, their brand. They've done a great job. And and so I have talked to you a lot about, after seeing what you're doing, watching the amount of content you're putting out, seeing it actually compete against me, that you really need to be savvy on that side if you want to compete and get your brand out, because the competition is doing it. And look, they're doing an amazing job of it, but it's opened my eyes to say, I need to learn what you're doing, Renee, because that's going to help me compete better, in our little niches that we play in as well. So yes, they've been very educational, but I think the average person that gets and receives this information, the more you teach them to focus and to put those skills to work and to see some success in it, and to be their ability to actually practice it, I think the more people are going to want to be in the community because they can actually see it working for them.
So I know, on a daily basis, I have, I don't know how many different conversations. I have conversations with, individuals who already have businesses, and we have the conversations on traffic. They're not getting enough traffic to their business. Everybody's looking for ways to how to make more money with their business. Or there are some individuals who they're still searching. They're still trying to figure out what is their business, right? So I deal with a tugboat transportation business that a friend of mine started back in 2010. Him and I have been friends for 35 years. Neither one of us really, we were going through a real estate crunch. He was doing mortgages. And so I had a little staffing business I was playing with a friend of mine that had a deal with some hotels. And I was basically staffing the people. And again, I was kind of like in the middle where I was doing a transition from, going through a real estate crunch, going bankrupt, losing on $3 million of worth and stuff. And I just kind of really played around for about 2 years, just trying to figure out some different things, how to get back to that income I was making. So I was doing all kind of stuff. And so he called me up with this business. So I've been doing that for a long time. And I'm seeing these guys who go offshore and they're working on these boats. And some people don't know about the tugboat business unless they know somebody or a family member, right? And so as I'm having these conversations with them, they're working, they're making good money, sometimes $300, $400, $500 a day. And when I tell them about, they should set up a little side business, sometimes nobody ever talked to them about that. Well, I didn't think about that, how I can have a business while I'm still working. And I tell everybody the rich dad, poor dad concept, which is employee, self-employed, business owner, investor, that it's easier to where if you work for a company in today's world and you're getting a good paycheck, getting the good benefits and everything else, take advantage of that and start looking at yourself as a brand. And then when it comes down to really planning your goal and getting the game plan together is where you start visualizing, okay, where am I going to be at in the next 5 or 10, 15, 20 years? So if you can work at wherever you are, and if you're happy doing that, great, that gives you steady income, because to make that kind of money on a daily basis, you have to get good at sales. I've done a lot of things, and there's nobody who's going to pay you that kind of money unless you really, really have a specialty in knowing something that is valuable for individuals, whether it's whether it's carpentry, electrician, plumbers, things of that nature, or you have some type of skills that somebody can really needs that you can make that kind of money. So where am I going with this is when I started again, every day I focus on really what is the goal. So when you define your goal and then you put together a plan, then you start really saying, okay, this is where I am. It's going to take some time to learn. And just like what I'm doing with you, Ed, I'm bringing you through the process where I'm exposing you to certain things. You're kind of getting it after a period of time. You're starting to grab onto it. But we all know the biggest problem is technology right now. It's like how to connect it. And again, it's taken me some time that I'm a salesperson. I'm a manager. I was not a technical person, but I kind of started dabbling with this almost 10 years ago, trying to figure out the skills, email marketing, how to do video, how to do certain things with technology. Because I know once you kind of get it, it's 24/7, 365 online. So when I look at videos, and that's what we're working on with you, Ed, and our goal is to build Ed his own brand. And that's really where we're going with our school. So on that topic, I'm going to share with you just again where we're going with what's your passion, what is our platform all about, and it is really just a community that was developed to help facilitate people through the process on connecting their passions with the ability to grow and prosper. And so we're all in search of happiness, but sometimes we're getting caught on really what is it that we like doing, and then how do we make it money? How do we get it to make money? So if you're a hairstylist, or if you are a contractor and you're good with electrical, you're technical, so you know those skills. But sometimes from a business perspective, you don't know really how to sell yourself, or you don't feel confident in going out there and telling people what you do. And that's where social media has changed the game. So my whole goal with where we are right now is really getting people focused on exactly what I'm doing on this video here. is we're creating content. And when we're creating content, it's information that you can share with people to help them move and help them get more knowledge on how to take their idea and vision and set together plans and goals to get it to where they can start taking action. And sometimes when you're taking action, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly like the lighting right now. Like, so it's like right now, Ed's in an area to where he wasn't planning for this. So when I say lighting, like my lighting, I was planning for it. So it's taking time. Some videos, when you go back into my YouTube channel, you'll see some of my videos are blurry and they didn't have good lighting because I didn't know, right? It was just new to me, right? So the same thing we're saying with everyone who comes into our community is that we want to help people just take the baby steps. Am I right, Ed?
Yeah. And Renee, I've shared this story with you before. I went to Chicago in 2009. They opened up the gaming industry in Chicago. And we saw, again, niches, right? Niches are, talk about niches a lot because, you know, which I've said to you a million times, it's better to be, it could be 27 miles wide and 1 inch thick, or you could be 1 inch wide and 27 miles deep. Niches are great to play in. You can be an expert in a small little niche. You don't need a lot of money to work a niche, right? And there are a lot of people out there working in different niches. So niches are really important. My niche, and that was, you know, taking what I did in Louisiana and bringing it to Chicago and teaching guys how to go out and do financing in a market where there was no financing available. And it's the same thing I experienced in 1994 in Louisiana with video poker guys. This is 2009. It's after Katrina. I'm looking for a new start. I go to a whole different city. You know, I think I've mentioned to you the other day that, you know, when I got there, I bought a pizza because I could eat on a pizza for 3 days because I was underfunded and I was looking to start an opportunity there. And we had to go raise a lot of money, which we did. But back to videos. We were using videos in 2010. And those videos are still out there, which I've showed you those. They're still on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, you know, that effort started from zero in a brand new city, in a brand new market, with a brand new company, brand new name, brand new logo, the whole bit. And I remember sitting in an office of the premier law firm, and we were being interviewed by private equity and to fund our company, which they did do an initial round of funding to get a 90-day look at us. And he asked the attorney at the time, have you heard of the name of our company, which was the Funding Stop, which is a funny name anyway, how we even get there. But anyway, the guy said you can't swing a dead cat by its tail without hitting somebody in the state of Illinois that hasn't heard of the Funding Stop. That was done with constant contact and videos. And a lot of work, but you know, I learned the value of podcasting back then, which wasn't podcasting, right? But videos through social media, because we were able to touch a state of 14 million people from Burridge, Illinois, right? You know, but it's a powerful, powerful, powerful tool, which I'm excited, you know, once again, to kind of be working in the niche and trying to learn this industry from a guy like yourself coaching me.
No, I mean, I remember seeing the videos, and it's like I told you. I mean, it's like, geez, you already had back in 2010. You and Matt, y'all did videos together. Y'all were doing very well. So it's just thinking, and it kind of keeps on coming back to me. Why are we doing video? And I get some comments lately. Man, what are you doing with those videos? What are you doing your podcast? And how are you making money with it? And all these questions. But what people don't understand is that when you backtrack and look at the people that are on right now that are successful, that are growing their industries, whether it's real estate agents, whether it's somebody who has just basic cleaning business, the reason they're blowing up because of video. And the challenge within today's world that you look at, Google and YouTube are basically the same. So Google owns YouTube. So there's a reason when people go to search, more people are searching on YouTube than they are Google. Google's changing some things over the course of the next few years, and some people are just not paying attention. So just imagine that if you and I would have stayed, because I was doing video email marketing right around the same time, and I didn't stay with it totally because it wasn't enough money at the time, because I couldn't get people to really see the vision. So I had a couple of dealerships and some people starting to play with it, but it wasn't really I had to have a lot of volume. So it's kind of like I go back and I keep on thinking about what you did and we were on the right track. And we just didn't stay with it. So what I'm looking at now, the reason I've kind of taken my whole 100% obsession this year to really take my online business to a whole nother level. And yes, I still have my lawn care business. I still do transportation. And those are 6-figure incomes that I basically said, okay, if I've done these with these traditional strategies, I can definitely do it online. Now I can teach hundreds, if not thousands of people across the country the basic skills, and in bringing in my team like Ed and some others, we can really do some really special things. That's what I'm seeing. That's what today I'm kind of this conversation. So many people are still not paying attention to what's happening and how powerful video is going to be going into the future. And then these AI tools, if you're not using them to understand how to read the chat GPT, how to write certain things, you can create a book within a matter of minutes these days. And it's just because of the power of using these platforms to kind of help you get the idea, and then you start filling in the gaps. Same thing with video. I'm using as in video program. That is another tool that is just incredible. I give it some ideas of what I want, and it creates a whole movie pretty much for me. So I'm learning these things so I can help teach other people how to speed up faster and not have to go through the pain that I'm going through right now of teaching myself learning. But I'm teaching myself because I have the time. But like you said earlier, Ed, that I have the time right now, and I'm investing that time that I have to learn these skills so it can pay off down the road. So once I get 300 to 1,000 plus videos out there, it's going to go nationwide. And actually, when I put your name into YouTube right now, Ed Colomb, it comes up on about 10 videos that I have.
It's going to be funny.
You're growing.
Yeah. It's going to be funny to see how this progresses over the next, say, year of us actually doing this, right? And I think that's what, for me, if I were an outside observer looking in right now at this conversation, it would be compelling for me to see how we actually took it, refined it, put it out there, put it to work on something, and how we actually turned it out into 10x an opportunity, right? Like I was talking to you earlier about my one of the companies that I manage, he's got a bar, and we had this conversation earlier about taking some of the things that I've learned watching a couple of videos and put it to work on this little bar as a chemistry lab, right? Just to take a couple of things and see if I could turn one event into something really special, just taking a few simple things, techniques that I watched this afternoon, put it to work and see how it would actually work in a real life environment. To me, that's you know what I'm saying? That's personal experience. You actually are taking that in and you're experiencing it. And that leads to a lot of belief in your ability when you talk to other people because you've experienced it, right?
Right.
I think one of the reasons why you and I have stayed connected over the years, and I say this to you a lot, just like I stay connected with Matt, Matt Scales, is because we've earned together. First deal we did, we made money, right? So when people earn together, there's a whole different fire that comes when a guy calls you on the phone, because it's just not another, great idea that I spent a lot of money on and got nowhere, right?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you internalize a dollar bill, when you see when you see a dead president go in your wallet from a relationship, you pick up that phone a lot faster than for somebody that is just constantly pitching you things that never come to closure.
I'm glad you said that, because that really is, and I think both of us, we have conversations during the day with certain individuals, and some individuals are just not going anywhere. And so I have to make those phone calls short because my time is very valuable. When I look at the time on a daily basis, I gotta be very cautious to protect my time And like you said, I'll spend more time on the phone with you or certain individuals that I'm bringing into my circle at this point, because I'm trying to speed up the process. So if we're on the same game plan, we're on the same path, we're on the same vision of creating, then it's a lot easier, a lot more beneficial than talking with somebody who's just not going nowhere. And it's a shame, because those people, I see talent. Like I think I've always been like this, where I see talent and I try to help people with their talent, but they don't want to help themselves. And I can tell them what to do, but they still don't do it. And they're basically like a horse, and you're trying to give them the water, leading them to the water, but they don't want to drink the water because they're still thinking about, well, should I drink the water? I don't know what's in the water. I don't know if it's going to be good for me, whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, well, don't drink the water. Right? Just die.
Sometimes, it's a numbers game. You have to go through a lot of folks in your life to find a hot molecule.
Right.
That hot molecule can reignite the flame inside and drives your passion again. A little play on what's your passion, right? What's my passion? Excuse me. What's your passion, right? But it's funny, because my tagline of my little business is, your vision is my mission, right? And your tagline is, what's your passion? So, I think we're always kind of looking how we bring someone from point A to point B using our skill set, right? But you might go through 100 people to find one special person. I mean, how many people have you gone through? Like, how many people have I gone through and maintained a relationship with you? Like, thousands.
It really is. And some people just, they don't go through enough people. They don't go through enough. And I guess, again, when I come down to when I started insurance, I was all of a sudden, I'm making six figures at 27 years old. My sister was kind of ticked off with me because I didn't go to college. And I have these friends of mine who were asking me, man, how do you make that money? And I had an opportunity to show them and teach them. And I realized that they got the license. Some of them made straight A's or 97%, but they never did anything. And then real estate, the same thing. Where I was able to partner with a friend of mine, and I asked him, how do you do this real estate flipping? And we did a deal together, and that deal made both of us $15,000. I did the labor, he did the money, and so both of us profited. And then we opened up a Keller Williams agency, and I started recruiting real estate agents at 30, 31, and I started realizing again, real estate agents just didn't understand investing. They were real estate agents, and they're doing this production, but they didn't really have investment properties. They didn't really understand the concept, and that's where everything really comes down to. Sometimes you need certain people in your life, and sometimes you're going to go through those people. Just like when I looked at the numbers on the real estate agents, out of every business, you're going to have the 80-20 rule. You're going to have 20% of people bring in 80% of the money, period. And those 20% are doing 80% of the work, right? So it's kind of like you got to look at the numbers and all and everything. So this brings me to where we are right now with this program that I came across. This lady, her name is Michelle O'Neill, and I came across her because I go through a lot of different coaches. I've spent, I would say, at least good $50,000 over the last couple of years on different programs, different things, different experiments. I started a podcast studio back in right around COVID because I said, okay, this podcasting, if I'm having a problem, a lot of other people are having problems. And so I came across this program a few months ago, and I it's a fantastic program. It's called Digital Growth Community. And this is part of my What's Your Passion products, because I feel that what she has, and by partnering with her, it gives me the ability where this is one of my flagship programs, to where when people come in and they don't understand a lot of things, it's hard for me to kind of portray it to them and in teaching them. And it can be costly. If I'm going to give my time and doing everything, you'll be paying me thousands. And so I do different coaching platforms with individuals who can afford one-on-ones. But this program is about the most affordable way for me to help people get into the program. They're exposed to over 45,000 members in this program. And also she has tons of value that's in here. And so the Digital Growth Community, I think right now, Ed, I'm not sure if you were able to get into it yet, but in the program, you have these different modules. And inside the modules, you can kind of see, No, I'm sorry. Let me go back. That's our school. I'm going to come back to this subject in 1 minute. So this is the products that's inside the program. So inside the program, we have these different modules, and all of these modules go through different steps, and they're short videos, anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. And Michelle kind of goes through different things on really understanding all different aspects of how to really understand marketing, digital marketing, building communities, understanding different programs. Like, these are programs that actually build out this program. So this program called Kajabi, if you're looking to create a course, then you would have to learn this Kajabi program. Well, she goes through some of this to help teach you these different programs that either one, you can resell this program and make an income, or you can go through this program and say, okay, well, I'm going to use this program to create my own courses. And that's what I did. I looked at it from this perspective that, okay, if she's already been successful at creating a program, she has tons of videos that she does on a daily basis, and she's been doing this for, I think, since 2022. So she's proven how to build an online business. She's making millions. She's created, I don't know how many 6-figure income earners that are just average, ordinary moms, baby boomers. I mean, we have more older people that are starting to learn this than anywhere else, because people are getting to the point to where when you start retiring, I don't think a lot of people think about this. And I think you and I have talked about this, Ed, and how many people I'm talking to that are 65, 75 that are still working. Then they're working, trying to figure out how to make more money. But because of their lack of ability to focus, for some of them, they're not really understanding that online is another way to learn how to get your message across. And some people are still, again, fighting it versus saying, okay, let me just put in a little bit of time each day to learn a little bit. And that's what these videos are for. And that's what our program is for. So there is no age barrier. I'm seeing individuals that are 30, 45, 55, 65, 80 that have basically embraced the fact of, okay, I need to learn a new skill. So I'm getting older, don't have a retirement plan. I can use this program as my retirement plan. Does that make sense?
And Renee, it's funny because baby boomers, which I'm the end of the baby boomers, right? We were called yuppies, if you remember, young upwardly mobile professionals, right? We drove Volvos, we were yuppies, or, you know, we wore Izod and all that stuff. But those folks are now retiring, but a lot of them have that burning desire to really never retire. Like, you know, I have no plans on retiring, and I cannot retire. So, you know, I have to continue to drive to create an empire where it's going to give me security moving forward, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of people that I know of my age, not a lot, because there are a lot of folks that, you know, just don't want to work anymore. But there's a lot of people my age that have no plans on retiring, even if they had the abilities to retire, right? So with the new COVID, put us all into a new perspective. Everybody desires now and has come accustomed to working from home and working remote, which was very foreign before. And the discipline around that was very difficult for people to do. A lot of people couldn't work from home, right? They'd be distracted. But COVID has put a lot of people into that realm now where they are very comfortable working remote, desire to work remote, and create an environment where they have their coffee, but they come into a different part of the house, and that's their office, and they're at work, right? These sorts of new industries are now conducive to that mindset that people have become used to post-COVID. So, you know what I'm saying? So this is not foreign anymore. People want this sort of remote environment. I'm not going to say remote again, but people are becoming, you know, sort of like, man, I don't want to drive, you know, into an office. I don't want that environment anymore. I'm very comfortable where I am, and I want to create a little industry around what I've learned over the years, and how am I going to put that forward to the world.
And just like you're saying, I mean, it's just that you and I are working on my business currently, and it's a great industry. The lawn care industry is a great industry. It's a
very excited about it.
It's a very lucrative industry, but at the same time, my expenses over the course of the years has doubled. And so labor has gone up, insurance has gone up, fuel has gone up, the price of the trucks have gone up, the price of the machines have gone up. So even in my world, I thought 2 or 3 years ago that, okay, well, I should be at a point to where I have more profit. So most people don't really understand that when you have a traditional business in today's world, sometimes you're sitting here, everything's affecting you, that you're trying to get up. And that's what I'm seeing. A lot of people are either closing up businesses right now. They're reverting back and saying, just like myself, I'm getting prepared to still grow my lawn care business and keep and maintain that. But I am making some alterations, and you and I are working on that.
Sure.
Working on either subbing out where I can figure out, okay, how to just sub out, expand the business, but bring down my labor and my cost. At the same time, I'm learning these marketing skills because I personally have been trying to find somebody who is in marketing to help me out. But these individuals are either too expensive, and they've been stuck on their old ways of, we need to update your website and do SEO. And I'm sitting here, no, I need more video and I need to do more content. So I'm going to start doing for my lawn care exactly what I'm doing with this, so I can show people that you need to kind of start doing stuff in the field so people get to know get to know you, like you, and trust you. So you can be a contractor, and if you just hook up that video, put a GoPro on or whatever, and just video the process, how many people will be, wow, I didn't realize that so-and-so did that. And I'm go to people's social media channels. They don't understand it. Your social media is the new TV. So if I'm going to your channel and all I see is pictures of you and your kids and dogs and food or whatever, and you're a self-employed contractor, well, you need to start reverting that around and say, okay, well, maybe I need to put 80% of business and 20% of personal. And so I'm starting to learn and trying to help people understand that this is where people are. People are online. People are watching this video. I've had a live video this morning. I think I must have had at least about 200 or something, 300 people in that live video this morning that I don't even know, but they're across the world. And so you have to look at the exposure, that you have so much more exposure you're getting with this video. Like this video is probably going to get thousands of views over the course of the next few weeks, that you and I don't have enough time of the day to like make phone calls, email, whatever it is. Our email is being totally consumed right now with junk. I get phone calls on a daily basis and I don't answer the phone because I don't know who it is. Most of it, it's 100%, 99% of the time, it's spam calls, and they're calling you from different numbers. That's why I'm so obsessed right now with really speeding up the process, but getting people to pay attention is the biggest part that I have a problem with, because most individuals just won't pay attention long enough to say, okay, each day, put a little bit in. And that's what our program here with the Digital Growth Community is all about. You have a program, you have access to hundreds of videos, you have an opportunity where you can go step by step by step, learning a few things each day, process it, act, do something, move, set up a channel, ask questions from the community. And let me go into the community.
Renee, I'm gonna have to go.
Oh, okay. So let's just kind of drop it off in here. And basically I'm going to share with everyone that if you're interested in learning more about what's your passion and what we're doing, then we're here for you to kind of guide you through the process. So, and again, Ed, thank you very much for coming on tonight. I know today was a really kind of just a short conversation between us.